Hello dear students, let's continue chapter number 14, Elements, Compounds and Mixtures. Subject Science, Standard 7th. This is our second part of the video. In the last part, we learned the particular nature of matter, properties of matter and elements. In this part, we will continue with detailed study about elements. Democritus named the small particles of elements atom because in the Greek language atomos means indivisible. Atomos means invisible in Greek language. Therefore, Democritus named the small particle of elements as atom. In the picture you can see Dalton's atomic theory. In 1803, John Dalton proposed his theory. He stated his theory that atoms cannot be created. We cannot make atom or divide. We cannot divide the atom into smaller particle or small particle or destroyed. We cannot destroy the atom. So what he stated, John Dalton proposed his theory stating that atoms cannot be created, were divided into smaller particles, were destroyed. He used certain symbols to represent elements. Oxygen occurs in nature in the gaseous state. Two atoms of oxygen are joined to form a molecules of oxygen, which has independent existence. Oxygen in air is always in molecular state. Just like atoms, molecules cannot be seen with naked eyes. Atoms we cannot see because atoms are very small. Like that, we already learned molecules means the smaller particle of or smallest particle of substances. So molecules are very small, we cannot see with our naked eyes. Oxygen is in the gaseous state and in molecular state in the nature. Two atoms of oxygen combine to form a free state of oxygen, children. Now I will ask some, see here, use your brain power. Some questions has been asked. So I will give the answers. Which elements are present in air? Oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen, argon, krypton, xenon are the elements present in the air. Second question, is carbon dioxide an element? No. Carbon dioxide is a compound. Carbon dioxide is not an element. It is a compound. It contains one atom of carbon and two atoms of oxygen. What are the properties of elements due to? How we can find the properties of elements? Elements are made of atoms, right? So, the structure of atoms and their characteristics are responsible for the properties of elements. Are the atoms of different elements similar or dissimilar? Means atoms of different elements are same or different? The atoms of different elements are different. Again I repeat, the atoms of different elements are different. Here in this table given the names and symbol of some elements. Children, by heart all the names of elements and their symbols. Why there are different names and their different symbols? Children, when we born, our father and mother have like some names and they name us. They name us with certain names and everyone follows that names. Likewise, whoever or wherever scientists discover the elements, they given the names to elements and then entire world follows it. The scientist Berzelius was the first to use the present method of using symbols for elements. The symbol of an element is written in the English script. It means A, B, C, D alphabets they started to use and is a short form of its name. In day-to-day life, we use short forms in many places, right? Like DR for doctor, CM for chief minister, VM for PM for Prime Minister in this way. Some elements and their symbols are listed in this table. When the initial letter in the names of two or more elements is same, a pair of letter is used to write the symbol. Children, you can understand this concept like this. See, we write C for carbon, right? So, for carbon, which symbol is used? Alphabet C. Then, again, chlorine. Chlorine again, we cannot use the symbol C again. It will make confusion. So, for chlorine, we use Cl. Symbol is for chlorine, Cl is the symbol. Again, just find out calcium. Calcium, again, we cannot use Cl or C as a symbol. So, which one symbol is there? Ca. So, we can recognize that elements by their symbol. So, for carbon, C, for chlorine, Cl, and for calcium, Ca. Which metals do we use in day-to-day life? We know, children, iron, copper, gold, silver, aluminium, etc. Are metals elements? Yes. Elements are generally classified into two groups, metals and non-metals. We have studied the properties of metals such as malleability, means metals we can make thin sheet. Then ductility, we can convert metals into thin wires. Conductivity of heat and electricity, metals have good conductor of electricity and heat. Then metals have density, metals shows the luster, means metals show shine, and sonority, metals produce sound. The elements that do not show these properties are called non-metals. See the examples: sulfur, carbon, oxygen, bromine. These are the examples of non-metals. Phosphorus. Okay, we will see more. Elements that show some properties of metals and some properties of non-metals. These are called metalloids. This is the third group of element. Arsenic, silicon, selenium are examples of metalloids. Boron, antimony, germanium. Which of the metals are elements? Which of the elements are metals, which are non-metals, and which are metalloids? Find out. See, I will tell some names. Metals: iron, copper, sodium, potassium, aluminium, gold, silver. We can tell etc. In this way names of the metals. Then non-metals: hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, oxygen, sulfur, all halogens and all noble gases. Then metalloids: boron, silicon, germanium, arsenic, antimony, polonium, selenium, and alcetium. These are the metalloids. Do you know, children, the wire that we see in the electric bulb in our house is made up of the element tungsten. Have you observed that wire, very thin wire in the bulb? That name is tungsten. That element name is tungsten, and its symbol is W, capital W. It's derived from its German name, Wolfram. Similarly, the symbol of silver, Ag, capital A and small g, it is derived from the Latin name argentum, and gold symbol is Au. That name is Latin name is aurum. Elements occurs in solid, liquid or gaseous state. Some metals are difficult to use in pure form. For example, pure iron rust in air very easily. Also, pure gold is very soft and bend easily. As a result, children, the ornaments made from pure gold bend or break it due to pressure very easily. So, therefore, goldsmiths mix it with certain proportion of copper or silver. Ornaments are made from 22 karat gold or gold with still smaller carat values. So, such a mixture of metals is called an alloy. Brass, steel, 22 karat gold are a few examples of alloys. Next topic is compound. Very important topic, compound. Example, salt. Salt means common salt. What we eat, that salt. Its formula is sodium chloride, NaCl. See the compound, what questions I asked. Say, take sugar. Take sugar in a test tube and heat the test tube. Observe what happens, what remains behind. And second question, first we will see using tongs, hold a magnesium ribbon in a flame and observe. You know what will happen when the magnesium ribbon is burned? It forms oxides and nitrides of magnesium. The ribbon turns into grayish color powder that will burn, or it will turn into grayish color powder. Now let's see the first question. Take a first thing we will try. Take sugar in a test tube and heat the test tube. Observe what happens and what remains behind. In this case, the sugar melts. First of all, what first thing will happen? The sugar will start to melt and then it loses water, whatever water content it will lose, and leaving behind a black substance. This black substance is carbon. It means there is only carbon left in the test tube. So how many elements is sugar made of? Sugar is made up of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. What does the name carbon dioxide imply, and how many and which elements is this substance made of? In the molecules of carbon dioxide, there are elements of carbon and oxygen. Means one atom of carbon and two atoms of oxygen form carbon dioxide. Compounds. Children, you can understand with the help of example. So first we will see the example and then definition. See in the picture, H2O, that is the formula of water. Water is the compound. Hydrogen is a combustible substance. Hydrogen can burn, that is it burns, and oxygen helps for combustion. But water, which is formed by combination of hydrogen and oxygen, is used to extinguish a fire. Does water help for combustion? No. In fact, water stops the combustion. Then which element help for combustion? Oxygen. And which is combustible? Hydrogen. Then hydrogen and oxygen properties are totally different than the compound water. Water is formed from the hydrogen and oxygen, but their properties are totally different. And whatever compound is formed water, that is not water does not help for combustion. Okay, in fact it stop the combustion. So it means compound properties, what we can tell, a compound is made of two or more elements chemically combined in a fixed proportion, and then compound can be further subdivided into simpler substances, but by chemical means only, and the properties of compound are entirely different from the properties of its constituents. And we can tell the examples. See the examples of compounds: ammonium chloride, sugar, water. Also look at here, sodium metal when treated react with the chlorine gas, a table salt means NaCl is formed, sodium chloride will form. So these are the examples of compounds. Then water we have already observed, the substance formed by a chemical combination of two or more elements is a compound. Which of these are compounds? Which are elements? Water, oxygen and carbon dioxide. So which are the compound? Water and carbon dioxide are compounds, and oxygen is an element. What is the smallest particle of a compound called? Okay, the smallest particle of a compound is called a molecule. Always remember, a substance is a compound only. So what is the condition, children? Listen. A substance is a compound only if its molecules are made up of atoms of different types. So atoms should be different types. Water is a compound. Why? One molecule of water is made up of two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen. Let us see some common examples of compounds. Silicon dioxide, it is also called sand. Sodium hydroxide, it is also called a caustic soda. Ethane, calcium oxide means quicklime, calcium carbonate, limestone, urea, benzene. All these are the examples of compounds. We learn in this part, children. What we learn? Elements and compounds. I hope you are clear with this topic. Thank you, children.